Okay. I'm out of breath. I feel like I'm always out of breath anymore. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. I don't have, the microphone I have is a hook-on one. So, I'm just gonna do my best. Stay. I just paid the rent. I went online and I paid the rent. I keep my iced coffee cups in here. So this is when I want a lot of iced coffee. This is my old friend's cup. Whenever he comes up, he uses the same cup. I don't have many coffee cups. I have to go over to the Dollar Tree and grab up a couple of their $1.25 cups because I really don't have too many cups. And then this is my Karen cup. I even have a straw in here, Karen. This is for when I want just a little bit of iced coffee. We're gonna get rid of that and get a fresh one. So I need iced coffee. I got the rent paid on this thing called ClickPay. And you go online and I have my account all set up. My old friend right now is in surgery. Where's mine? He's in surgery right now as we speak. I'm definitely praying for him. Anyway, so you can pay by check or you can pay by like bank, like through Wells Fargo, like bill pay, you know. And you can pay by credit card, and then it gives you a chart where you you can see how much the fee is going to be depending on what credit card you use. And you can also use MoneyGram. I've gone big. You can also use MoneyGram. I need more ice. And it gives you like the company code. It gives you the locations of where the nearest MoneyGram place is. And it's $3.95 to do a MoneyGram. So you can pay by that. Yeah. So you just got to go on and get all the information, take it to like your local CVS or whichever one it is. And I didn't get my cup. See where my head is? This is so typical for those of us who are left behind. Someone said, I pinned your comment, I believe. I don't remember what your name is. I'm sorry. But you said your husband loved Swedish fish. I keep mine cold. And I have Almond Joys and I have prunes because Sky loved prunes and I love prunes too. It's not something I would typically buy, but I buy them now because Sky loved them and I'll eat a couple prunes each day. But, so anyway, so I got all that information, which I wasn't aware of because I don't usually use ClickPay. I usually just use bill pay on Wells Fargo, but I use ClickPay. It's kind of more of a, supposedly a more sure way of them getting their money. So today's the 22nd. They give a reminder on there about making sure that you pay far enough ahead of time for the money to get to them. So anyway, so that's done. That part's done. That will show up in my account tomorrow, that money has come out of my account. And so I make my own iced coffee. For those that are new here, I'm very frugal because I have to be. And even if I didn't have to be, I would be. But I get this Coffee Mate, the cafe mocha, and then I use the French vanilla, and I combine them in my cup, and I make coffee in my Mr. Coffee over there. And then I let it cool down, and then I put it in a separate carafe, and I keep it in the fridge so that I always have iced coffee. And then I add a straw, I add my ice. So I'm gonna bring you guys over a little bit. How about right there? That's good. Okay, I need a straw. I was talking a little bit earlier about, turn with me, a little bit earlier about being prepared. And for all those folks that lost their loved one in an instant, with no preparation, no warning, no, you know, just that knock on the door or something. And I'm like, what does that feel like? I can't imagine. But I know for me, the weeks, the months, the doctor visits, the medication changes, watching him go through the pain, watching his systems shut down. One of the things with MSA is all of your systems start to shut down. They start to like paralyze. And one of them is the intestinal tract, the colon and all that. So he wasn't able to go to the bathroom easily on his own. He was urine incontinent, and he was, he couldn't have bowel movements on his own. So I had stool softeners and prunes, and he had coffee, a lot of water. But something that really worked, and this is like for across the board, this doesn't have to be a situation with, you know, someone being ill or anything, but if you have trouble going to the bathroom, this is compared to Miralax. This is the generic, it's called Clearlax, and it's a lot less expensive. And then it's a powder. This one's sealed, but it's a powder, and you fill the cap and you add it to water or coffee or pudding or whatever. And it worked really well, and I used that for him. I also had stool softeners, the generic, that worked. That was an everyday thing. And I also, once a week, needed to give a gentle laxative. And we also, I don't know if I have any Senna left. Senna Plus, this is the vegetable laxative, and this is what the hospice and the thing before hospice, I'm drawing a blank, when you're on palliative care. We had palliative care come in and give us some instruction and advice and all that stuff, and they suggested Senna laxative. So I have all this, all of the morphine and the Ativan that was here through hospice was taken out, of course, by the hospice nurse when he passed away, and they came in and took him out. But honestly, I don't know. Like, I had months to prepare, so-called prepare. I never prepared. That didn't prepare me for this. It didn't prepare me for what he looked like when he was gone. It didn't prepare me for all these days and nights of widowhood. It didn't prepare me for all the phone calls, the emails, the worry, the wonder, the what if thinking, all of the could have, should have, you know, all of that. Nothing prepared me for any of that. But I had time to say things, you know. We had time to, because we knew he was ill, to do the pre-plan for his end of life needs, which he chose cremation. And so I would suggest, no matter what your age is, if you're 30, you know, if you're 28 and you're just starting out, and get this stuff in order. You can always change it down the road. Like, you can change what you want in your health directive. You can change as you get older, like what you want or you don't want. You know, you can always add to or take away from in a will. But to prepay and pre-plan for your end of life, whatever it is you want, whether it's a burial, whether it's in a mausoleum, whether it's a cremation, like whatever it is you want, you can get that paid for, and you can add things and change things up, you know, if you decide to. All of a sudden, it got incredibly dark in here, and there's nothing in the, that is so weird. There's nothing in the weather that says rain. Can you tell? I don't know if you can tell. You'll be able to tell this way when I turn the light off. Look how dark it got. Wow. That's really strange. I don't know. I start talking about stuff like that and it gets very dark in here. For those of us who have gone through it, no matter which way we've gone through it, you're not ready. I don't think any one of us is ready, whether it's we lose our husband or we lose our wife, whether we're a widow or a widower. I don't think anyone is prepared, really. I know that grief and mourning and loss and all, I know we all go through that our own way in our own time. We all do it our own way. There's a woman, her name is Brandy. I don't think she does, I don't know if she does any social media anymore, but she had a YouTube channel. That's how I found her. And I just really loved her. And she was, it was Brandy XO, I believe. And she was a wife and a mom. She is a wife and a mom. And she lost her husband on, I believe it was Christmas Eve a few years back. I mean, literally, the whole story is, and she was very to the point with her story. They were in bed, they were beginning to get intimate, and he started to get chest pain. So he said he was going to go downstairs and lay down on the couch. She went down with him. She kind of curled up in the chair, and right before her eyes, he died. He had a massive heart attack. And so she calls 911. She calls her older daughter down. They're trying to give him CPR. That the instructions that 911 was giving her, but he was gone. And she struggled. She struggled big time. She blamed herself. She just struggled. And she said afterwards she started drinking in a way to cope. She turned to alcohol. And very shortly after he died, very shortly, like within a month or so, her old boyfriend reached out to her and they started talking, and he helped her through those first couple of months. Long story short, they ended up getting married really quickly, like within a few months, I believe it was, after her husband's death. Now, she knew this guy. She was actually dating both this man that she married and her husband. She was casually dating both of them. And like, she knew she had to pick one or the other. And you know, she got married. And then it was the old boyfriend who reached out to her after the death of her husband. And they connected really fast. And she got a lot of flack for that. She got a lot of flack on social media for that. You know, like, oh my God, your husband's been dead, like what, 2 months or something, and you're already with somebody else. Like, how could you? And that's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic, is how we make decisions about moving forward. Not on, but forward. But we don't, for me, there was no way I was ready to lose him. And I know that he did not want to go. The last thing he said to me was, I don't want to leave you. he was on morphine and Ativan, and he was trying to open his eyes to let me know he wanted to tell me something, and I put my ear right on his mouth, and he could just get out, "I don't want to leave you." It was so soft and so faint. And I just broke down. I lost it. And I didn't want him suffering. And he didn't suffer through his death. At least that's what I'm told. You know, the morphine and the Ativan. He was on comfort care, what they call comfort care, which is to make sure he didn't feel any pain as things went along. So from when hospice came in until when he passed, it was 5 days. It was actually Saturday, Sunday, Monday, most of the day Tuesday. It was Tuesday night. So it was 4.5 days from when hospice came in and I signed the papers. So in 4.5 days, he was pronounced dead. So it was quick. But he was actively dying for days before hospice came in. And I know that from the sounds he was making and all that. I recognize that now, that he was already starting that transition. It's a hard thing because you never get away from all the thinking of it, all the thoughts of the way he died, the way it all came about. Was this the right decision? Was that, am I doing everything right? Like, you don't get away from it. At least I haven't yet. It hasn't been 8 weeks. Tomorrow is 8 weeks. Tomorrow is 8 weeks. 2 months. Only 2 months. It feels like it's been years since he's been gone. And I'm thinking about my old friend. He's such a sweet man. He's having surgery as we speak. And I feel he's so blessed because he has his partner there at the hospital. One of his children, grown children, is there. Flew in from out of state to be with him. And I feel so blessed for him that he has that, because I didn't have any of that here. And I don't. I still don't. It's just me and my ashes. But I talk to him all the time, as though he's just in another room. I text him. I text over to his iPad. I take his iPad. I text back to my phone as though he texted. And I have a whole thing, like years of texts from him on my phone that I never want to lose, that I'll go back to where he was actually texting me, telling me how much he loved me and to be safe. And the amount of comfort in that is so amazing, but with it comes so much pain and so much loss. That feeling that I wish he could tell me that one more time. And that's the one thing I think we all think about, is if we had just one more time, one more minute, one more hug, one more time to say I love you, one more something. If we just had one more. And so I always encourage everyone here on the channel to don't wait, do the one more now. Whatever the one more is, do the one more now. Because, you know, tomorrow, tonight, in a minute, you might not get the one more. I'm going to go make some more phone calls. I got to make more phone calls. Thank you all for being here. I never know how to end a video. Sometimes I'll say, if you can change it, don't worry. If you can't change it, don't worry. And sometimes I say, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Sometimes There are no bad days. There's good days and better days. A good day is when you open your eyes to have another day on earth. And a better day is anything good that comes into your good day. So pick any of those for today for yourself and get through your day. And I'll be back another day, I hope. Yeah.